Welcome to The Gist. Thanks so much for listening today. Being human and telling stories seems to go hand in hand. We've used stories throughout our history to pass on information, to explain the unexplained, or for pure entertainment. Our brains need stories to make sense of the world and our place in it. The theater of the mind, though, can be even more complicated and dramatic than the fiction we consume. But if we're willing to live an examined life, one in which we question anything and everything, our own minds should also be fair game. So how can we challenge the stories we tell ourselves? Catch yourself throughout the day. Most of us have an ongoing internal monologue all day long, and unfortunately, it's often negative. Instead of looking forward to a fresh new day, we might begin the morning thinking, I slept in, I'm really tired, now I'm going to be rushed and behind all day, I'm never going to get everything done. And on and on. All this before we've even brushed our teeth. Sound familiar? Over time, this kind of thinking accumulates and hardens into a state of mind. But the simple act of noticing this thought pattern is the first step towards dismantling it. That is the crux of developing self-awareness. It's simple, but not easy to do. Whether you practice meditation, mindfulness, journaling, or some other form of reflection, the main objective is the same. Not to stop our thoughts, but to notice them. We can become explorers of our own mental landscape. We can see and understand the terrain, gather information without judgment or interpretation. Practice critical thinking. Once we become more familiar with our thoughts and feelings, we can start to look at them more objectively. Why should we believe every thought? Why should we trust every feeling? How much emotional energy are we spending on what other people think of us? How much mental energy is invested in fairy tales, catastrophes, or gossip? Some anthropologists and biologists believe gossip served an evolutionary purpose. It allowed us to build bonds, trade information, and be in the know about what was going on in the community. But the darker side of gossip is that it can also erode trust and be mean-spirited, leaving everyone feeling worse off in the end. There's a huge sense of simplicity that comes from minding one's own business. I like the funny saying, not my circus, not my monkeys. There are so many more interesting things to do in life rather than meddling in other people's affairs, holding strong opinions on what they should or shouldn't do, and trying to control things that are out of our hands. Diffuse the drama. So many of the tales we spin stem from a need for novelty. We crave drama and excitement, without which we think life might be boring. But it comes at the cost of our own peace of mind. When we start letting go of unhelpful stories, we also let go of comparison, resentment, entitlement, and pettiness. We start opening up to possibilities and use all that newfound mental space for more worthwhile endeavors like creating, learning, growing, and helping. When we recognize the fiction in our minds, we gain the power to rewrite the stories we tell ourselves. If our inner monologue has been largely negative, we don't have to suddenly leap into a wildly positive story or delude ourselves into ignoring life's difficulties. We can use the laddering approach and take small steps towards less negative, even more neutral ways of thinking about life. With time and practice, we can weave richer tales more rooted in positivity and in our deepest, most nourishing values. And there's certainly nothing boring about a story like that. So the next time you reach for a good book or sit down to watch the latest Netflix drama, enjoy it. But remind yourself to keep noticing all the yarns your mind has been spinning and take some time to untangle your own stories as well. On that note, wishing you a great week ahead. Be well and see you next time on The Gist.